Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode one of the SHM Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Hossack, and on today's episode, we're heading up north to visit the troops as two members of the Ontario Hockey League's North Bay Battalion join the show. First up, a third-round pick of the battalion in 2021. This player has absolutely terrorized goaltenders across the OHL this season with his 35 goals. A top prospect for this year's NHL draft later this summer in Vegas. Please welcome number 15, Anthony Romani.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, finally, he was drafted first overall by the battalion in the 2020 OHL priority selection. Now, a third round pick of the Seattle Kraken and the battalion franchise leader in goals, assists, and points by a defenseman. Fresh off representing Team Canada at the World Juniors in Gothenburg, Sweden. Please welcome Ty Nelson.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, guys. Let's get right into it here. And obviously, Nelly, we're going to kick it off with you. First overall pick in the draft in 2020. Obviously, that's a little different than going later in the draft. So just talk about how that kind of process works.
Yeah, it's a little crazy. I mean, going up to the draft, you never really know where you're going to go or where you're going to land. I mean, obviously you have some idea. And for myself, until North Bay called me and told me they were taking one, for myself, I could have went anywhere from one to like 30 range, and it was just more so of hoping. And then met with North Bay a couple times during the year, and then about 2 3 days before the draft, they gave me a call. They're like, if you want to come to North Bay, we're going to take you number one. So I mean, obviously you're not going to say no to that. And I mean, it's been great. It's been great for me out here in North Bay. I mean, without North Bay, I don't know where I'd be today. They've been such a key point in my development as a person and a player. So it was such a surreal moment, and obviously still sometimes hard to think about.
Now, for you, Romes, you go in the 2021 draft. Just kind of take us through what your experience with draft day was like.
Yeah, I think for me it was a little different than Nelly because of COVID and stuff. So I didn't really have like a draft year where I got to play. It was kind of scrimmages and stuff like that. So I mean, it was a little more scary for me. I didn't know I was going first, or I knew I wasn't going first overall. So it was kind of any team you could go to, but I knew North Bay was always high on my list of teams I wanted to go to. So when I heard them call me and call my name, I was super excited and pumped to come here.
Now, obviously, you both get drafted up to North Bay. Take us through the first time you both visited the city and what were your first thoughts overall? Obviously, you're both from the city, so it must have been quite an experience.
Yeah, I mean, for myself personally, like I came up after I got drafted. Me and my family came up for a couple days just to kind of tour the town, but everything was on lockdown. It was during COVID, everything was shut down. So I mean, it was hard to really you didn't really get to see half the town because everything was shut and you couldn't go anywhere, pretty much do anything. So I think the first time I got, you just obviously you come up and see the nice scenery, the lakes, the like just everything that the city has to offer, the fish and the nice restaurants on the water, which was amazing. And then for myself, like when we came back for training camp when our first year got canceled, it was sorry, it was awesome. I mean, the whole town was open, and then first time day of training camp, we had a practice, and there's 400 or 500 people that show up, and that's the first time like I've practiced in front of a group that big. And then training camp games come along, and there's 1,000 people in the stands for training camp games. So it was unbelievable to see the support that the team has in this community. And obviously now growing over the 3 years that I've been here, just the support and everything that like our team has, the involvement in the community, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I'd say the same for me. Like when I came up, it was COVID too. I came up when I signed that summer, so it's still COVID. And I mean, it was nice to view everything. It was a nice town. The lake was cool, and we had nice restaurants we went to with the GM and our coach, so that was good. But I think, like Nelly said, once we came down for training camp, we kind of got what North Bay really is, and that was a community that really supports us. And I think it's a super great place to be in. There's always fun things to do. Like I remember in training camp our first year, we were out on the sea-doos a lot too. So it was great coming up here, and it's not something you get to do in Toronto. So we've loved it for the 2 years and a half we've been here.
Now, obviously, for you both, you're two different age groups, two different drafts, but obviously because of COVID, your first seasons, both in the OHL, were actually the same season. So first off, Nelly, obviously you get drafted in 2020 and you have to wait a full year to have your first year. How crazy was that for you?
Yeah, I mean it was nuts. And then you hear all the rumors, season's gonna go in a month, and then that gets pushed back, and then finally it was just more so of myself. It was just the hope of whenever they were coming out with statements saying, we might start up. And then finally when I got canceled, it was like, wow, like I'm missing a year, right? And I knew at that point I've talked to the guys on the team, the older guys like Luke Moncada, and they're missing like their last years, and it was crazy. So I know it was a weird year for everybody. And I think for myself, once the season got canceled, it was like, okay, I'm just gonna treat it as an extended off season. I'm just gonna go through, keep training as much as I can, whether it's at home or when the gym's opened up, and then just try to better myself for when I do finally get that chance to go out and play.
Now, for you, Rome's just talk about coming into that first year. Obviously, like you had mentioned, your draft year was a little weird, just playing scrimmages against your teammates and stuff, basically. So, just talk about finally being in game action again and how weird it was.
Yeah, I think coming into North Bay it was a little weird because you're going from basically Bantam hockey to OHL hockey, and that was different, and it was much harder and faster. I mean, you're playing with bigger players, so I think it was something that you had to adjust to at the beginning. But I think it was really good that we got to come in with the '04 class too. I mean, there was probably about like 10 to 12 of us coming in together. I mean, we had a fun group there, so I think we all got to learn together, and it was probably one of the best things that could have happened for me personally. So I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I just think it was just a lot of adjusting with the hockey because it's Bantam to OHL hockey.
Now, obviously, you guys get up to North Bay, and that fan base is probably one of the top three passionate fan bases in the OHL. Just talk about having that crowd behind you, basically the seventh man every game.
Yeah, it's crazy. Uh, like in playoffs when that building's full, like you can't hear yourself think. And like that's how loud it gets, and it's awesome. I mean, for us, we average 2,700 people every game, which is a good amount, especially for a smaller community like North Bay. And you can just tell, like, you throw a hit, the crowd goes nuts. Like they help swing the mojo of the game so much, and that's all it takes, right? Like one thing, you lay a hit, the crowd gets into it, and then you can pop 3 goals because the momentum's going your way. So it's crazy, and it's amazing to have that support from the community like we do, because like you said, it's basically the seventh man, and it helps us in games. There's been times in games where I'm like, okay, maybe not feeling my best, so I go out, lay a hit, the crowd gets into it, and I'm like, okay, like let's go. Like I feel better now about my game, and that you just see like the little thing. They notice all the little things that you do here in North Bay as well. So you make a nice pass, and it's not going unnoticed, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think that our fans play a big factor into our team. I mean, like Nelly said, I think we have probably the best fans in the league. We have the seventh man, and it really does swing momentum for us. I mean, coming into our first year, I mean, there was COVID, so I don't think we got the full taste of it. But last year, I think seeing all the fans come out, especially in playoffs, it was crazy. I mean, we by far probably have the most passionate fans. Like you said, you throw a hit, you're gonna hear the crowd, and it honestly does give you like adrenaline, and it swings the game for us. So I think us having the seventh, what we call the seventh man as our fans, like is really great for our team. It's a big role in how good we do.
Yeah, Rome's been getting a lot from the seventh man this year. How much he's been putting the puck in the back of the net.
Yeah, no, he always does fan favorites. So.
Now, for you guys, during I think it would have been your rookie season, that January shutdown where there was a couple of weeks where you guys were playing without fans after having a little bit of fans. How crazy was that to actually play OHL games in front of nobody?
Yeah, it was crazy. You never think, like, you never thought that would have been a thing. And like I know as a kid, I used to go to the Steelhead games, or when the battalion were in Brampton, I went to a couple of those games. It's like you cool, you aspire to be those guys on the ice playing in front of all these fans, and then just playing in front of nobody. It was so weird. They tried putting in like the fake crowd noises and all of that, but it's so different compared to the real atmosphere.
Yeah, I think for me, like I kind of even forget that part of the my OHL career. Like it's kind of just like a wash. I feel like I don't know. I didn't really feel like the OHL. I mean, having the no fans, like it just I don't know. I just felt like a different game. But I think having our fans is really great, and we love it. Like Nelly said, we grew up watching. So I mean, I grew up watching some Generals games. So always going there. They had a pretty packed barn every night. So that's what we want to play in front of, and we do here in North Bay. So it's really great to see our fans out every night.
Now, something that I noticed when I was at playoff games last year, you guys coming out of a tank, is that just a playoff thing? Or if not, when was the first time you guys experienced that and how electric is that coming out of that thing?
Yeah, no, it's an every game thing. As soon as we come out for the beginning of the game of the first period, the tank's up and we're coming out of that, and it's like a little like a adrenaline rush. Like it's sick. Like you see like the Vegas Golden Knights who have all the smoke and that sort of thing. So it's just kind of a little step towards the pro levels of what you do there. And coming out of the tank, it's just it's no like I don't know how to explain it. It just nails. Like the tank is it's I don't know, it's a big part of North Bay in the community. And obviously we have our tank Centurion jerseys, I believe that's how you say it, but it just kind of represents that, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I don't remember the first time. It was probably preseason or first game, but in our first year. But yeah, the tank's always there, so we always come out, and it's kind of an adrenaline booster. I feel like we also have like, I think we have one of the best speakers, some of the best speakers in the game. So it's always loud when we get out there, and yeah, I think it's just a good adrenaline rush. So it's pretty cool coming out of it.
Now, as Nelly mentioned, you have the tank jerseys. I think you guys are wearing them on Sunday. What are your thoughts on them and how sick are those? Because they are electric.
Go ahead, Roms.
Yeah, I mean, I love the tank jerseys. I mean, we introduced them last year, and I don't think we had the best jerseys for them last year, like the material, but this year we have nice ones, so I know we're all pumped to wear them, and they're pretty sick. I mean, I love both colors, and to wear the black ones for the first time is gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And just kind of the meaning behind the jerseys that our owner kind of came up with. It's just means a lot to this community because of the military base and everything that belongs here, and all the history that belongs to the community in North Bay. So it's just kind of a nice way to represent the community and kind of give out not representative, but give out like a shout out, or just try and represent our troops proud.
Now, something that ties into that, Ty, you have something called Ty's Troops. Can you just kind of explain how that kind of started and what all that's about?
Yeah, definitely. Ties Troops is an initiative I started with Community Living in North Bay and the battalion. And so Community Living is a place where people that have challenges or disabilities, they go to, and they can do things maybe they can't do in their everyday life. They go and they can play ping pong, they can go for meals, and they can go and get social, right? Because sometimes it's hard. It's hard for people if you have some disabilities or challenges communicating with people, and sometimes people don't understand what they're going through, and it's hard to. So it's great that they have this place, and I have two very close family friends that one of their sons has autism, and one of their daughters has autism, and sorry, she has it's slipping my mind, Down syndrome. Sorry, she has Down syndrome, and so they were all like so close to me, and they come to the games, and you see the smile that it puts on their face, and that it's just more so of they idolize us because we're like celebrities are big in the community. So it's a good way to kind of get the team and myself involved in the community. And so we go there every Tuesday, and we do a different activity. So we've done ping pong, we do this thing called drum fitting where we play the drums on the balls. And yeah, it's lots of fun. It's just nice to get out in the community and try and give back, because the community's been nothing but amazing to me. So just trying to do that little thing to give back to the community, and just try and inspire people to, it's get out, learn about it, and obviously that they're just like every one of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, obviously, this year, Romani's draft year, Ty's been through this already with being picked. First off, Anthony obviously ranked pretty high on some of the different lists that have come out. Just talk about how that might adjust your game a little bit, or do you kind of just cancel out all that noise altogether?
Yeah, I think I kind of just cancel it out. I mean, it's not really what I'm focused on right now. I think right now we have a really good team. I think we made some good moves at the deadline, and we're really trying to make a push here to win it this year. So I think that's really my main focus right now. It's kind of just like some outside noise that I try to block out and just something to deal with later. So I think we're just really focused on winning here.
Now, for Nelly, obviously you went through this draft process already, and the first thing we're going to talk about, even before talking about the pick being made, the outfit you had for the draft. Just bring up how that came about and how you were able to pull it off.
Yeah, it was honestly I didn't know anything about the hat until the night before the draft. And so for the combine, it was in Buffalo, and my agents had a suit company out in Buffalo. So like, here, let's go get you a suit for the draft. And so okay, awesome. So my billet dad, he's like, send me a picture of your suit, what you're gonna get. So I was like, okay. And I had no idea this was going on. Meanwhile, everybody else did. My mom, dad, and everybody, they knew this was going on. And so my billet dad, he's a big he runs his own company, so he's big on content in social media. So he found these guys Bellissimo hats. So they make hats out of Montreal for like Caulfield and all those guys on Montreal, and they're sick. So they just happened to actually perfectly match up my suit patch that I sent them on a picture and match it to the suit, and then just getting drafted by the Kraken, it fit out perfectly.
That is awesome. Rome's, what were your reaction and the boys' reaction when you saw that?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, I think we saw the video of his billet brother giving him the hat, and we all thought it was pretty funny. It was sick though. I think it was pretty cool that he got drafted by Seattle too. So it was the same colors, and it just all matched up. So I know we were all making fun of him for it, but we all loved it and we're happy for him.
Now, on that note, obviously being drafted, Ty, just talk about hearing Seattle going up to a podium there and calling your name. How special is that?
Yeah. Uh, I mean, it's a lifelong dream that you obviously want to try and complete, and it's surreal just thinking about it. And as a kid growing up, all you do is watch the NHL, and I want to be them. I want to play in the NHL. So just getting drafted into such a great organization like the Kraken that have been nothing but fantastic in helping develop my game. And it's a thing that sometimes you I've been drafted for over a year and a bit now, and it's still hard to process sometimes because it's such a goal that you want to achieve at such a young age. So just getting one step closer to playing in the NHL, it's surreal, like I said.
Now, first time you stepped on the ice with the Kraken, just talk about that experience and some of the big names you saw around at camp that were kind of eye-opening to you.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, my first camp, it would have been development camp, and Matty Beniers is there, and I was like, okay, this guy, like, he's crazy. Like, watch him on the ice, he's so good. And yeah, I mean, that was just first time at development camp, and then main camp comes around, and you're going against Eberly, Larson, Dunn, Tanev, and it's like these guys have been playing in the NHL for years now, and it's just I'm blessed and I'm privileged to be sharing the ice with them, and that's kind of the whole mindset that I go through every time I step on the ice with them is just try and learn because they've been through it. They've been through everything throughout the process of going to rookie camps, development camps, playing in the NHL, learning how to stay in the NHL, and then obviously be the great players that they are today. And just trying to learn as much as I can from them every time I'm on the ice with them.
Absolutely. Now for Anthony, just a tremendous year for you so far. Honestly, what do you think's clicking so well that you're just able to put the puck in the back of the net as much as you are?
Yeah, I think that we have a really good team right now, and I'm playing with really good players. I mean, me, Wakely, and Vancine. So I mean, we've been playing with each other pretty much since our first year. So I think our chemistry is great, and I mean, we always kind of know where each other are on the ice, and I think we're just clicking there. So I think that's really helping, and just the confidence. I think just being third year in the league now, it's a lot more confidence than you were in your first, and I think that's a big factor to it. And I think honestly, just with my teammates, like playing with Nelly on the power play and like Van Steensel and Wakely, and just always having great players around me has really helped me this year.
It helps he can put a puck anywhere he wants to.
Now for Nelly, how special is it to see a guy like Anthony just be able to do what he's done with the puck this year?
Absolutely. It's so surreal. I mean, it's amazing just to watch because as a first year player, it's hard to make your mark in the league, and just seeing that the stuff that he went through throughout his years, because you know what, we've had unbelievable teams the 3 years that we've been here, and they've all been amazing. And in Rome's first year, you know what, maybe he wasn't playing a whole lot, but when he does, he was just, you can see the confidence start building and building. And now, like he said, being a third year guy, just watching him put the puck in the back of the net every night, making the plays that he does, it's so great to see, because obviously you wish nothing but the best for your teammates, and especially for such a great guy like Rome's. And he's great on the ice, off the ice, great kid. And I mean, I had the privilege of knowing him before the OHL, because he played in the same organization as I did, and just watching his game develop from there to where he is today, it's awesome. And obviously, his game speaks for himself. So he knows how to put the puck in the back of the net, and he makes the right plays, and he's a great two-way player. So it's awesome to share the ice with him and be able to do anything I can to help him get drafted as high as possible.
Now, obviously, you guys get the tank in North Bay, but one other thing that happens in the OHL is Sudbury with the Wolf on the wire. How crazy was that the first time you guys saw that when you went there?
Go ahead, Romes.
I mean, I don't know. We saw it and we hated it right away. I think. I mean, we still hate it for sure, and we never like seeing it. So I think we just try to limit the goals in Sudbury for sure, because I don't know. It's a team that we have a big rivalry with, so the game's already big enough. I mean, they're 4-point games every time we play them, so they're always must wins for us. And leaving the puck out of the net so we don't have to see that Wolf's always a bonus too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Rome said, but yeah, our first year we came up and the older guys kind of warned us about it, and I was just like looking up after they scored that first goal in my first game in Sudbury. I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, all you see is this thing coming out on the rope, and I was like, wow. I was like, that's intense. But I mean, it's a cool thing for them, but as an opposing team, you hate it. You never want to see that thing go across the line, like Rome said.
Now, for you guys, you're both from the GTA area, but what's worse, North Bay winters or Toronto winters?
I don't know. I'd
Well,
say for sure.
they're two different types of winters. Like up here, it's a little drier, cold, and down there is more wet. But I think it gets a lot colder up here, but you can do a lot more things out there than I think you could do in Toronto. So it's nice to be up here. I prefer the winters up here than I do in Toronto.
Yeah, I think they both have their pros and cons for sure. It's definitely colder here, but I think it's also fun how with the team, like with their having great builds and stuff, like a lot of builds have ice shacks and we're able to do that or go on snowmobiles and stuff like that. So that's definitely fun. It's not something you can do in Toronto, so I think that part up here is a lot better.
Absolutely. Now, both of you just had your Christmas breaks a couple of weeks ago here. And for one of you, it was a little bit different. Nelly, if you can kind of run us through how your Christmas break went, because it was not how you were probably planning to spend it.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. Yeah, I was in Pittsburgh with my family. We were on a kind of just a family Christmas trip, and getting ready to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers game. And I'm a Steelers fan. My grandfather was a Steelers fan, so it was kind of an item on our bucket list that we wanted to check off with me and my dad. Now that my grandfather's passed along, and we're getting ready. 20 minutes before the game, I get a call from Peter Anhold of Hockey Canada, and he goes, "Hey, we got some injuries. We need you to come out." So I was like, all right, I'll be there. And yeah, so up and out we left within 20 minutes of the hotel, and flew out the next day. Met the team out there on the 25th and got introduced, and then yeah, the just got to be able to represent the Leaf, which is such an honor, and obviously super blessed to be able to represent my country.
Now, talk about arriving there. First time you had no practices with the team, and I think you had to step right into that Boxing Day game. How like crazy was that for you?
Yeah, it was nuts. I didn't know if I was gonna, like, I figured I probably wouldn't be dressing. They just dressed 60, and then went in and saw the lineup sheet. My name was on there, so I was like, all right, we're going. But Yeah, the guys were great. I mean, I know lots of them just from playing against them or with them over the years at Hockey Canada events or other sort of events. So they were all great about it. Just welcoming me, trying to teach me everything that I missed while they were out there in Sweden while I was at home, and just trying to catch up as fast as I could to play as best as I could to help the team win in any way I could.
Now, obviously, Nelly can touch on this a little bit from his experiences at World Juniors, but maybe Rome's if you've played Hockey Canada at all. How much different is it when you meet all these American kids that are playing like college and stuff and just seeing the skill these guys have? How crazy is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot different than like playing in your normal league, the CHL or wherever they're playing NCAA. But I think for myself, I really think it's cool because you get to see things that maybe those guys are doing in the other leagues that you don't see in the O or in the dub, and you can kind of add that to your toolbox and just kind of be a diverse. See, there's something that works in a different league, so why not try and see if it'll work in the league that I'm playing in? And I think that's kind of the really cool part about it. But I think just what, playing with Macklin Celebrini, just hearing about his stories about college and stuff, just hearing the lifestyle that they live and how the game goes and the different type of hockey that we play in the Ontario Hockey League than they do at university. There's a big difference, and I think it's cool just to kind of learn about it and try and pick up on a few things whenever you can.
I mean, I don't know too much about it. I mean, I didn't go to World Juniors like Nelly, so I don't know too many of those. But I mean, I think it's like something you see in like your summer skates too. Like a lot of the times you're training with players from different leagues and especially the NCAA. I mean, you see how skilled they are there, and I think it's a different game. Like they're playing with much older guys than we are too. So I think it's just kind of listening to them and learning stories about it and just trying to, like Nelly said, trying to take from their game and try to put it into your game and do stuff like that. So I think it's just always nice hearing the stories and trying to elevate your game by doing it.
Now, I believe third game, just minute or two in, Nelly, you get that penalty against Latvia. And take us through what's going through your head when you sit down in the box. And I don't know if you saw that they put the 5 on the board. Like, were you kind of panicking there?
Yeah, my original reaction, I was quite frustrated because I knew like I didn't stick my knee out or I didn't even hit him on the knee. I hit him on his hip. And so I was just genuinely, I was confused about what the penalty was, but obviously you understand that they got to try and protect everybody's safety and everything like that. So just in my head, I was kind of going through it. I was like, please don't let it be a 5. Like I don't want to get kicked out of this game. Like I don't want the team to go on a 5 minute penalty kill. And luckily enough, they saw that I didn't stick the knee out or potentially obviously try to hurt the guy. So I was just happy, and I know it fired the boys up after I got kicked out of the box. They said no penalty, so they were pretty fired up for that.
Yeah, like how wild is that for you? You're thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm out of this game, and then they're like, oh no, you're not even getting a penalty. Like,
Yeah, it was my first shift into the game too, and me and Owen Beck were actually joking before we were going on the ice because he got a penalty in his first shift, and I was just kind of joking with him, go Becker, don't get a penalty your first shift, and I go out there mine and I get a 5 on the board, so luckily it was taken away.
oh, that's a tough look. But we'll wrap up World Junior talk here. Obviously, a tough loss there to Czechia. Just talk about the tournament as a whole, and again, getting to wear the Maple Leaf.
Yeah, I mean that tournament, it's anyone's game. Any night, it's anyone's game because you're playing up against the best in the world. So I think for us, it's just we went out there and gave it our all, and we ran into a hot Czechia team. I mean, they played unreal. They have some great prospects, great players that we faced up against. And you know what? In those tournaments, it's not a privilege to win. You got to earn your way there. And you know what? The puck maybe didn't bounce our way that game or a few things, but I know we gave it our all and worked our hardest to try and represent the Leaf proud. And I think just like I said earlier, just representing the Leaf whenever you can, it's such an honor and privilege.
Absolutely. Now, I've grilled you guys enough, so we'll have some fun questions here before we wrap up. And there's also one thing that's going to happen at the end that Rome's knows about that is going to be a shock to Nelly, but we'll get there in a couple minutes. So, first of all, I reached out to a couple people that know you guys and that I know, and got a little inside information on you guys. So first off, Courtney Kenny told me that Rome's you love sushi. So just talk about that or something like that. He just had asked some question about that. Like,
I don't know. I think a couple of guys on our team like sushi. I mean, it's pretty funny. I mean, I think me and Dom probably go the most. We're there after practice probably once a week. So I think it's just kind of a joke our team has. I mean, after every practice, we just kind of like look at each other and like make a face, and we kind of both know that we're talking about sushi. So I think we go quite a bit. Nelly sometimes comes too. So I wouldn't say he's there as much as me though.
Definitely not.
now the other one I got from for Anthony is Luke Malcassian better at Fortnite than you?
No, I have no chance. I mean, I've played with him. I play with him all the time. I mean, not right now, but when Fortnite's a thing, I kind of play with him. But I don't think he's ever been better than me, so I won't let him say that.
And actually, the other one, Stefan Forgione said, I should bring up the story when Romani scored one of his goals. When he celebrated, he did like a million stick twirls. What was that about?
I mean, that was pretty recent, to be honest. I didn't really know I did that many stick twirls. I was kind of like caught up in the moment. I mean, it was a penalty shot, so you kind of black out. But yeah, I mean, I just try to do a little stick twirl I see in Zegras and those kind of players do it. So just tried copying, but I think I did a little too much.
Now, the two that are coming here for Nelly, Courtney Kenny brought this one up. He says you love movies and you do a great it impression. So if we can see an impersonation of this, please, Nelly, that would be awesome.
Well, I mean, I got the red hair already, so that kind of fits, that matches out. But I mean, just kind of messing around because with Courtney Kenny, that podcast is a lot of fun, a lot of jokes. So he's just telling me about recent movies the one time, and he's like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "I watched It." He's like, "Can you do an impression?" I was like, "I could try," but it's like it's kind of, I don't know. I can give her an attempt. I don't know how good it's gonna be, but I'll give her an attempt. It's like, "Hiya, Georgie." That's all I got. I can't do anything else, but that's like kind of the only thing I can do.
Thoughts on that, Rome's?
I mean, it's pretty funny. I feel like I hear Nelly making impressions in the room all the time, so I'm used to it. But yeah, it's a good one.
Absolutely, and I'm sure Stu might use that for some battalion content at some point this year. Maybe he was saying he might do it. So, now the other thing we're gonna try and do, and Rome's knows about this already. It's something that got brought up on the Frontline podcast. Nelly, I know you're a big Christmas guy, so what are the odds we get you to sing part of All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey right now?
Oh, didn't expect that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I can belt it out. Like, you gotta be like in the Christmas spirit. Me and Courtney Kenny were talking about doing a Christmas episode. Like, I don't know. Uh, I mean, I like. I can't. I like. I don't want to disrespect her song like that because it's so good. Like, I can't sing it to her level. So, I gotta go ahead and pass on that one. But I mean, just out of pure respect for Mariah Carey, the legend.
That is awesome. That's definitely kind of a reaction I was expecting from that one. Now the other one I wanted you to try and do is, let's see if you heard this enough when you were in Sweden.
Can't hear the song. You're playing it. Oh, there you go.
Got the sun in the sky, all the water surround me. Yeah, I'll get down, sometimes I lose. I've been battered, but I never bruise. It's not so good.
Nah, say, hey, 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 it's just an ordinary day. Your fate and mine. Yeah, we heard that one go off a lot.
There we go. We got him to sing a little bit, so we'll take that, eh, Rome's?
Yeah, we'll take it.
Now, before we wrap up here, a couple more questions. Top 3 favorite OHL jerseys.
Oof, that's a good one.
I don't know. Us one for sure. I love all
Yeah,
three.
we're one.
All four of our jerseys, whatever we have. I kind of like the Sue's jerseys. I like the red.
Yeah, I agree. The Sioux are nice.
You got one? I don't
I think so. We're 100%, and then I like Kitches. Kitches are kind of professional, like the Rangers, which is nice. And then the Sioux probably.
Yeah, I'd go us one, maybe Sue two, and then I think Erie's. I like their helmets. How they have the silver or gold helmet. So I'd go there. Them at 3.
Next one is favorite and least favorite rink to play at.
Can't pick our home.
You can if you want.
Okay, well, I get ours is for like favorite for sure, but favorite away barn Barry. I love playing in Barry, and I get lots of family that come to that game. It's kind of local for my family, and then worst barn I hate playing in is Suds.
For me, I'd say like ours is the best for sure at one, but for like favorite away rink, I'd probably say Oshawa just because it's like my hometown and I grew up watching there. It's a nice rink too, so I love playing there. And least favorite, uh, either Peterborough or Sudbury. I mean Peterborough is just the square boards, but just smaller rinks and just a little different, I think.
Now, a guy that you guys had just traded back to Windsor, Pasquale Zito. Talk about how he goes from working for his dad's company drywalling to going back to playing hockey. Like, how nuts is that?
Yeah, uh, I know Zeets pretty well, so I know he's excited to be back in Windsor and playing hockey, and I know that he wanted he wanted to go to a team where he wasn't going to be in competition with us because he loved the team and the organization so much. So, I mean, just from that aspect, I mean, respect the guy, love him, and I'm just happy he's playing again.
Yeah, I think it was pretty cool that he's back playing hockey. I mean, we love Zito and I think we're really cheering him on and we want him to do the best. So I think it's cool that he had a good night there on his first night back. I think he had like 5 points or something. So we were all watching that and yeah, we're cheering him on. He's a great guy.
Now, before we wrap up here, second half of the season started a little while ago. What are some of the games you have circled on the calendar for the second half?
Go ahead, Rome's. I got to think about this one.
Yeah, I'm thinking too, but I'd say probably I think in February we play SAG twice. So I think they're going to be a team that we want to kind of match ourselves up to, especially since they're hosting the Memorial Cup. So I think those are going to be big games for us and we want to win those. I think I'm looking forward to playing those games at least.
Yeah, I agree with Rome's. You want to put the best up against the best, and we count ourselves as the best in the league. So it's going to be a good game, and I think for myself, because I get really excited for the barn burners against Suds. So we got a weekend coming up where we play Suds at home and then in Sudbury. So I'm excited for those games.
Absolutely. Well, I'd like to thank you both for hopping on here today and wish you the best of luck the second half of the season.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us.